PSG are looking to go all in on Virgil Van Dijk. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around this man right here, Liverpool captain Virgil Van Dijk. And in a week that has been absolutely horrendous for Liverpool, being knocked out of the Champions League, losing the Carabao Cup final, it could potentially look to get even worse if a report from Sam Maguire of the Anfield Watch is anything to go by. In the article, Sam lists a lot of Liverpool players and also talks about a lot about what may happen in regards to Liverpool's transfer plans this summer. He lists a lot of players that are either coming to the end of their contract, are not favoured by the manager particularly, are past their use-by date, or in some cases have contract situations that are on the horizon on their own that could lead Liverpool to a massive overhaul of players this summer. And one player in particular that he focuses on is one Virgil van Dijk, with PSG, the French champions, and the side that knocked Liverpool out of the Champions League last week, being in pole position, if we are to take what is being written here, and being in pole position to obviously take the Liverpool captain off of Liverpool's hands when his contract expires at the end of the season. We're going to be talking about this potential big transfer story. We're going to be talking about the PSG links for the Dutchman. But before we go any further discussing all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, that I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that section, people, and talk to me on this potentially huge and major transfer story. And without further ado, we'll get on to the conversation ourselves. We will talk about Virgil van Dijk and a potential move to Paris Saint-Germain. When it rains, it really does pour sometimes, and this week has been a horrendous week for Liverpool. As I mentioned before, being knocked out of the Champions League, losing in the Carabao Cup final, and now this article comes out from Sam Maguire that basically states that Virgil van Dijk is a top target of PSG, and they are prepared to go all in for him, where Liverpool may not. This only adds more fuel to the fire of the aftermath of last week's result. Obviously, as we know, PSG dumped Liverpool out of the Champions League last week. And afterwards, it was caught on video, Virgil van Dijk seemingly talking to PSG representatives and even, I believe, the president of PSG. No one knows the full details of the discussions. No one knows the full details of the conversations, I don't think. But of course, that has only added snowballing speculation to a story that has been brewing all season. And it's not just obviously Van Dijk as well, but obviously there's the Trent Alexander-Arnold contract situation. And of course, Mohamed Salah. All three whose contracts run out at the end of this season. In the article, Maguire goes on to say that basically there are a number of players whose futures are in doubt, and that could potentially be because of players' contracts in the form of Salah, Trent and Van Dijk being up at the end of the season. Could be in the form of certain players not being on the manager's good side, not being favoured by the manager of Arne Slot. There could also be players that have interest from elsewhere. The likes of Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez are seemingly attracting interest from Saudi Arabia. And of course, players that may have contract situations of their own on the horizon that could also force Liverpool into maybe cashing in on them now whilst they are in a strong position to do so, such as Ibrahima Konate. But the Van Dijk one is the one that he focused in on a lot, and he basically said that PSG are prepared to go all in for the Liverpool captain. PSG are seemingly preparing to offer him what he wants from Liverpool, basically. They are seemingly prepared to offer him the deal that he seemingly wants from Liverpool. Now, in the past, of course, we know that Van Dijk has said that he wants to stay at the club. He's obviously kept to a minimum of a discussion point whenever he's been asked about his future beyond this season. But it seems for the most part he would be very much happy and open to staying. Money, not that much of an issue. He just wants a home for the next few years to probably see out the remainder of his career. And he wants that at Liverpool. But the fact that we are now on the 18th of March 2025, about 3 months or so away from these contracts expiring at the end of the season, and there has been little to no movement at all on any one of the 3 big contracts that were expiring at Anfield at the end of the season, is absolutely a joke and is completely beyond me as to why we haven't heard anything. Now, don't get me wrong, I know Liverpool like to work in the shadows and behind closed doors on this, but are you seriously telling me that 3 players, well, at least 2 of the 3 players that really want to stay at the club have made it vocal that they want to stay at the club? You're telling me that you can't find a sort of middle ground, a sort of negotiation, especially when you consider that Van Dijk and Salah especially have been absolutely exceptional this season. Major reasons as to why we got to the Carabao Cup final. Big reasons as to why we topped the league phase of the group stages, the league phase of the Champions League. And a major reason as to why we have spearheaded this title challenge in which we are currently 12 points clear at the top of the table. Are you seriously telling me that you cannot either cave into their demands or find a reasonable negotiation solution to those demands? You're Liverpool Football Club. You're meant to be a major club. Friggin' act like it. Act like it, because I swear to God, if these go, there is blood on FSG's hands. This summer was already going to be a massive summer as it was. A massive summer as it was. We were talking about how a lot of different players have either gone past their use-by date, a lot of players are either not in favour with the manager, and that there needs to be a big clear out at Liverpool to get rid of certain deadwood players. There are about 6 or 7 players, I've mentioned this several times now, that obviously, in my opinion, need to be out the door at Liverpool come the summer. If you add 3 more players on top of that because of this club's incompetence and absolute stupidity to not renew the contract of Van Dijk, to not renew the contract of Salah, to maybe not renew the contract of Trent Alexander-Arnold, that's 3 more players, and they are not as easily replaceable as you think. Trent may be the more easier to replace in terms of positioning, but no one in world football right now is going to, or no one realistic is going to replace what Mo Salah brings to the table in terms of his creation, creativity, and his goal-scoring contributions. And no one in world football is going to replace the absolute colossus that is Virgil van Dijk, who in my opinion has been the best defender in the Premier League this season. In my opinion, is probably the best defender in the world. At worst, he's in the top 3 conversation of the best defenders in the world. That is just how good and how highly I rate this guy. And yet, Liverpool are going to let these 3 players slip through their fingers, as well as probably go into a summer in which there is going to be interest from the likes of Saudi Arabia and certain players, as we already discussed, with the likes of Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, as well as some other deadwood players that we need to shift on, we need to get rid of in order to bring in some new blood and to also bring in some new faces. And some new faces that are either going to bulk up the squad or fit in even more so with what Arne Slot is trying to do here. And instead, we're just messing around. We're messing around with these players. We're messing around with the contract situations of this club. And no other big club, in my opinion, would do this. No other big club in the world would let their 3 best players, or 3 of their best players, go have their contracts run down this much without any sort of real movement in re-signing them. And if they do go at the end of the season, fair play. I can't honestly blame them, because FSG, Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes have shown no ambition to either A, keep them, or B, give them a reason to stay by building around them, building elsewhere, making them want to feel like a part of this. Liverpool this season are top of the league out of spite of their owners. No one expected us. No one expected us to be where we currently are right now in the Premier League. But we are there. Why? Because the head coach is fantastic. Yes, he's not completely faultless. We have gone over some of his faults this season, but they've been minor in comparison to other head coaches and other managers of the past. We are there because Mo Salah is having an unbelievable season. We are there because Alisson Becker is the best goalkeeper in the world and he has a very good standing in Keeman Kelleher. We are there because Virgil Van Dijk is, in my opinion, like I said, the best defender in the world. And we are there because other players at certain times this season, maybe not consistently, but have stepped up at big times this season to drag Liverpool over the finish line and to head them towards success. And how are we going to repay them as a club? We're going to let 3 of our best players go. We're probably going to let more go in the summer. And it may even come to a point where we may not even let them go in the summer. Because if we lose our big players, we can't simply then turn around and go, well... Or they'll simply turn around and go, well, we've already lost Van Dijk, we already lost Salah, we already lost Trent. We can't afford to lose any more players because we're not going to repay them. We're not going to replace them. Because Liverpool don't do that. And that's why I keep saying, I am worried about the future of this club because I don't trust FSG. I don't trust Michael Edwards. I don't trust Richard Hughes because they've given me nothing to trust so far in this new regime under Arne Slot. I have nothing to trust from this. Last summer, we needed players. We didn't get players. Slot was forced into moving Ryan Gravenberch into making him a DM. That is what he had to do. He had to find solutions within the squad. I don't trust them. They were meant to go out in January and maybe buy someone to maybe help us get across the finish line at the end of this season, or maybe even someone to slowly bleed in for next season. They didn't do that. I have nothing to go on with these guys. I have no trust to go on with these guys. And if they let Van Dijk and Salah and Trent go, I'll clap them off. I will say thank you for everything that you've done for us, but I understand why you're going because this club is run so poorly. Such a joke of a football club at times. It's absolutely ridiculous the way that we're going about it. And then, of course, you've got the other side of the coin of who do we bring in? Well, if we get rid of these players, do you really think it's wise when we need about 6 or 7 players to replace those players that we're probably getting rid of? 6, 7 or 8 players to go and blast all of our, or the most of our budget on 150 million Alexander Isak? Do you think it's probably wise to blast over 100 million on Julian Alvarez when we know that our transfer budget is probably not going to be the sort of war chest kind of figure that we get spouted out every single year? It's laughable. It's really, really laughable. And it's made a horrible week even worse. I don't know where I stand anymore with these guys. I really, really don't. It's an absolute joke of a situation. It's absolutely ridiculous. And even Sam Maguire in his article goes on to state that the longer this is dragged out, the more disrespected he believes these players have felt. Who'd have said that about several months ago? This guy! Go back and watch the videos that I've done where talking about these contract situations. I literally said that FSG are playing with fire here. And if they don't wise up, if they don't pull their finger out soon, then these players that claim that they want to stay at this football club will ultimately turn around and go, you've disrespected me long enough. You've dragged this out further than it needed to be. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to go somewhere where I feel welcome. I'm going to go somewhere where I feel respected. I said that several months ago, and we could be staring down the barrel of that situation becoming a reality. PSG have the money, they have the financials, and they have the squad that I'm sure Virgil van Dijk can help build for the next couple of years. PSG are a very good squad. We found that out firsthand last week. They could easily win the Champions League. If not this year, then within the next couple of years. And Van Dijk could be there at the helm, giving his experience, giving his leadership to those players, and he would be a welcome addition to that PSG unit. He's guaranteed a French League title pretty much, and a Champions League. Their chances have never been stronger, PSG, of obtaining that goal. And he could be at the forefront of it because our owners are stingy, pathetic, and are a joke. And it's about time we call this out more and more and more and more so. Better late than never, guys. I've been on this for a while now. Been on this for a while. I talked about our summer transfer window. I talked about the contract situations throughout the season. I talked about our January transfer window being dry and dead. This situation, for arguably the best defender in the world, is a complete and utter joke. And there you have it. Those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you are thinking about this current situation involving Van Dijk, Liverpool, and a potential move for Van Dijk to PSG. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in that comment section. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your brand new or continued support to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. I really cannot thank you guys enough. Really appreciate it and will never be taken for granted. Your support is absolutely awesome from each and every single one of you. So thank you all so much for that. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.